I'm Amy the Amazonian, and this is Brawl. Brawl is a format where you can pick your favorite legendary creature or planeswalker and build a 100-card singleton deck around that card. And with the addition of the latest set, you can even pick from over 100 characters from the mainline Final Fantasy games to be your commander. And for this deck, I chose Choco, Seeker of Paradise. This is a Chocobo from Final Fantasy IX. Whenever you attack in with birds, you look at that many cards from the top of your deck, you choose one to put in your hand, you put any lands you'd like into play tapped, and the rest in your graveyard. And if they're in your graveyard, you can bring them back into play with Tishar, or you can use them to escape Uro. But really, this deck is all about bird synergy. Whether those are birds that make other flying creatures stronger or non-flying creatures stronger, or maybe they're birds that can stop abilities or stop your opponent's spells or them from searching their library. We have lots of great birds that work together, including some things that make copies of birds like Taunos or Springheart Nantuko. We also have some other landfall effects like the Chocobos in the deck. We've got side quest, Raise a Chocobo, Traveling Chocobo, and of course, Bart and Boko. With that, we're able to get more Chocobos into play, take our opponent's blockers out, and then maybe even bring back some of those other birds from our graveyard with Castrel the Wind-Crested. All these birds work together to be a brutal force in the air and on the ground. So let's take Choco and the Chocobos into the queue and see what they can do. Alayla, Artful Provocateur. Alayla is going to make fairies when you cast artifacts or enchantments, and those flyers will all get buffed. I've got a turn 1 bird, Healer's Hawk. I've got a turn 2 bird, or I could raise a Chocobo. I'll probably go for Wingbright Thief, though, because it will give me information about their hand. All right, some very cheap artifacts and enchantments here. Good for spitting out fairies. And I'm a little worried that the fairies are going to be very good at blocking me, since they also fly. Midnight Clock, Wedding Announcement, and Sarah Paragon. I will hit the Wedding Announcement here, because I think that of those, that's the one I would want to cast next. And if they do cast it, I will gain some life and draw a card. I've got more birds. Which bird do I want to play? I want to raise a Chocobo. That's just a factual statement. That has nothing to do with the card. I want to raise a Chocobo. Raise a Chocobo, if I have 4 birds at the start of one of my turns, becomes the Black Chocobo, which gives a landfall ability that buffs all of my creatures. It also gets a land. I can flash out Nimble Obstructionist. I can use Uro for ramp. But I do want to have birds. So I'm just going to play Awestruck Signet, Battlefield Raptor, to maximize my birditude. And the bird will be the word. Next turn might be Choco time. I also might be able to flip this over. If they don't remove one of these... Yeah, bird up. Does it bring in the land tapped? It does bring in the land tapped, so I won't be able to use it for casting Choco. But I could get a forest, so this will come in untapped. That's perfect. I'll grab one of my Surveil lands. They should be over here somewhere. Yep, Lush Portico. All of my creatures get a buff from Black Chocobo. Oh, I'll keep that Swords of Plowshares on top. Probably put it into hand with Choco. And I have a very large number of birds here, and all of them are going to attack. I will choose to put... Oh, I wasn't going to put Swords of Plowshares. I'm going to put Derevi into hand. And I have 2 lands here, which means Black Chocobo will trigger twice and give 2 more power to all of these attacking creatures. They can block. They can take out 2 of these. They can take out Windbreak Thief, Healer's Hawk, maybe even the Black Chocobo. They're just going to maximize the damage they're preventing. But I don't think it matters. Even with a little bit of life gain, we're just dealing too much damage. GG, Alayla. Choco, Seeker of Paradise, that's the same commander I'm running. And I've got a 1-mana pair of birds, a couple 3-mana birds, and some lands to hopefully get Choco in play. I'll use the Verdant Catacombs, and I'll grab a, I guess, green-white? No, blue-white. I'm going to grab a blue-white land, if I can. Oh, I can't. I can grab blue-green. Yeah, that would work. Where's blue-green? There it is, Breeding Pool. And play Silver Raven. I want to make sure that I'm able to cast both of these. Flooded Strand, there's my 4th land. I'm glad my opponent also has a Chocobo pet here. I'll swing in for 1. And I'm so willing to pay life for more birds. Healer's Hawk. They've got a Delighted Halfling, so they're ramping to Choco. I can fill my deck up with non-lands or play Jackdaw Savior. This makes me hit fewer landfalls, but it does put some really good cards in my deck. I'm gonna go for Jackdaw Savior, though, because I feel like them also being a Choco deck, they're gonna have flying blockers, and this will give me a little bit of recursion in the future. They've got 4 mana. Is it time to bird up? Tishar. Tishar is also recursion whenever they cast a historic spell. I could make my own Tishar. Or I could just go for Choco. All right, Choco, get in there. I want more triggers. I don't mind if one of these dies. I'll put the Gilded Goose in hand and 2 lands into play. The only landfall I currently have is Choco's, so that doesn't actually do anything here. And they can choose to kill one of the 1/1s without losing Tishar. Yeah, it's a real flock in here. It's Choco! Let's see if they'll attack with Tishar. They do. Getting the top card and just putting it into hand. They haven't played a land yet, so if it's a land, they could also just, like, play that. Ooh, Command Tower. I would also like a Tishar, so I'm going to pay 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. To make a copy. Play the land for Choco's trigger. Swing in with 3 birds. I'll take Falco, put it in hand. Yavimaya Coast into play. Choco's now swinging for 5. And those other cards went into the graveyard, which is relevant because Tishar can bring them back. Casting Falco would do that. Casting like an Arcane Signet. I don't think I have any sagas in my deck to qualify for historic, but it would be cool. Oh my gosh, that's such cute Ledger Shredder art. Bart's Invoco is going to be, well, not itself dealing damage, but having the other birds in play deal damage to a target creature. So they could kill Choco or one of the other birds. You're only mana value 3 or less, so I will move that back. I have enough mana. I got a lot of lands off these. Choco swings in alone. Get a land. Nope, they put a card in hand. Oh, hey, Mox Pearl, because I played Oracle of the Alpha. I will cast the Mox Pearl, which triggers that, which gets me Faceless Agent, which gets me another bird, because it is the most common type in my deck, even Mind Sensor, to make it so people search less. My commander is also historic and gets me Healer's Hawk back. I'll swing in with all of these. Again, I don't really mind if they die. And I'll put Patchwork Banner or Nadu. I'm going to go with Patchwork Banner into hand. Sparta's Headquarters into play. Keep that Shifting Woodland on top. And some of my birds may die, but that's okay. Looks like Tishar is trading with Tishar. Nope, just blocking the Silver Raven and killing this Oracle of the Alpha. We take them down to 2. And Jackdaw Savior gets some triggers. So I bring back the Silver Raven. Shifting Woodland still on top of my deck. Not really a surprise there. I'm going to use Patchwork Banner to buff the birds. Bring back that Nadu that went to the graveyard. I will name Bird. And then I will play a bird. So they have a bunch of attacking birds here. But they would need something to break through the number of blockers I have. Falco Spara brings back even Mind Sensor or Metallic Mimic. The Mimic will actually resolve before Falco does, so they can name Bird, get an additional counter, and now they can cast things off the top of their deck by removing a counter from one of their creatures. And it's a counter, so they can remove the shield counter, +1/+1 counter. Doesn't matter. Rampant Growth. Gotta get that landfall. Battle Screech. Ooh, they could tap 3 white creatures. 1, 2, 3. I don't think they want to do that. They could remove a finality counter. Yeah, if they had one. I think if Tishar were printed today, it might bring finality counters. Oh, here comes Choco. And the Ledger Shredder. And Bartz and Boko. Everybody's coming in. There's a card in hand. 1 land in play. So Choco is swinging for 6 damage. I think I'll let that 6 damage go through. Block with Choco. Block with Nadu. And then turn around and swing for lethal. GG, fellow bird enthusiast. Ulalek Fused Atrocity. This is a 5-color Eldrazi commander. I have a turn 1 Nadu, so this is definitely a keepable hand. These are some of the best birds you could get. I just have to make sure I get all of my colors. And Gilded Goose can definitely help out. I've got, turn 1 Botanical Sanctum. We bring out the goose. I feel like they'll need to do some ramping, but it's a lot of, like, making sure you have colorless sources, too, for Ulalek. Nadu. If you target my creatures with spells and abilities, I might be able to get a little bit of ramp, or just card advantage. I wouldn't mind either. And I got a Polluted Delta into Breeding Pool. I'm not entirely sure what the Temple Garden was shocked in for. I'm going to try to cast this Delighted Halfling, since I did just draw that. And swing with Nadu. It could be a Growth Spiral, since, again, Eldrazi tend to cost a lot of mana, and they might want to ramp. Planar Genesis, it's similar to Growth Spiral. Yeah, I was thinking maybe they were holding up a counter spell, but no, it's more ramp. And Conduit Pylons, that is colorless mana. Or colored mana, if you're willing to spend an extra. I'll make a food. Delicious snacks. I have Choco mana next turn. Snapping Voidcraw, taps for 2. And Choco is gonna find me some birds and lands. Bird in hand. Land. I still have my land for turn. Perfect. I'm ramping. Ooh, Traveling Chocobo. Traveling Chocobo will double my landfalls and let me play birds and lands from the top of my deck. They definitely have enough mana for Ulalek here, and they can copy their future Eldrazi with that. I should say their Eldrazi and also the triggered abilities of the Eldrazi. They're going for Null Drifter instead. They draw 2, and now they have a 4/4 flyer with Annihilator. Play this Traveling Chocobo. That's a Tishar. I'm going to swing in with the birds. Gilded Goose included. Tishar in hand. 2 lands in play. Choco Grokos. And it gets double triggers because of the Traveling Chocobo. I'll play that land that's on top of my deck. Ooh, Plume Creed Mentor. Nope. Tishar. Tishar's great at recurring things like Nadu from the graveyard. If it costs 3 or less, and it got put in the graveyard or died in combat, we have the chance to recur it. How much mana do they have? They have 7 mana. Maybe more. 8 mana. Ugin is going to discount all their colorless spells by 2. And destroy Tishar. Yeah, they know how scary Tishar is. Hedron Archive. So they spent 2 mana to get 2 mana there. Smart, okay. Playing the lands off the top. I think going for the Plume Creed Mentor is nice since it will give me a buff here to make sure that some of my creatures are able to break through that Null Drifter. I'll make my Traveling Chocobo stronger. And then I'm going to go for Wingbright Thief to see what they have in their hand. I need to see, like, do I need to be worried about what's in their hand? And if I can get these all up to 9 damage, I guess I can just kill them. Oh, that's a Kozilek. Well, if you cast Kozilek, I'm going to draw a card. And if you cast Cultivate, I'm also going to draw a card. I have a little more mana here. Let me get another blue and or white here. Let's go for Temple Garden, green-white. Choco Grokos. Ooh, and now I have an Oracle of the Alpha on top of my deck. Don't mind if I do. I think I could just kill them by making these strong enough. The Plume Creed Mentor is doing such a good job at buffing up the non-flying birds. The synergy between the Bloomburrow birds, which cared about non-flyers, and the Chocobos, which don't fly, is so good. Okay, so now Choco and the Traveling Chocobo both are at 9 power. Gilded Goose, get in there. We swing in, and it's lethal. GG Ulalek. Calyx Destiny's Hand. This is a enchantments commander. It's also a planeswalker, which is able to exile cards and can get you more enchantments in hand, eventually bringing all your enchantments from the graveyard back to the battlefield. I have a Judge's Familiar. It can counter some things as long as the opponent can't pay 1. I might be able to prevent certain spells. I can either play Wingbright Thief or go for Harrier Strix and hold up Wash Away. I'd rather go for Wingbright Thief. Let me see what they have in their hand, and I'm going to try to hit whatever card I think they're casting next. Okay, it's going to be Presence or Grove. It is good to know they have a board wipe in hand. I might need to hold that counterspell for it. I'm going to hit the Sterling Grove over the Enchantress's Presence. This is card draw, and this is protection. Botanical Sanctum. I have to decide here. Am I worried about Wrath of God? If they get a land, board could get wiped. But I could sacrifice a bird to save it. You know what? It's worth a bird to save some birds. I'm going to play Raise a Chocobo. Harrier Strix. I'll tap their permanent. And swing in for 2. If they get a land, and they try to wipe the board, Judge's Familiar. Prevent it. It's a counter bird. Bird counter spell. Not Swan Song, that's different. Admittedly, like, if they do that, I won't be raising the black Chocobo. I do really like the black Chocobo. Instead, it's going to be Calyx. Calyx can exile one of these, or just plus up. It looks like they're going to exile the Raise a Chocobo. Aww. I was gonna raise that. I didn't get a land. So I guess I will kill Calyx and swing for 5. Planning on flashing out the Even Mind Sensor. With Fabled Passage, they'll be bringing themselves to 5 mana. Enough to cast the Wrath of God and pay the 1. Ooh, or they could go for Mirari's Wake. I don't want you to double your mana. I am scared of you doubling your mana. I got my 4th mana. It's Choco time. I know I'm very susceptible to board wipes here, but if I can get a bunch of lands, totally worth it. Chocobo Racetrack and Bart's and Boko. I'm going to go for Bart's and Boko. Put these 2 lands in play. We get some landfall triggers. Take them down to 7 life. Temple of Plenty. They like whatever card's on top of their deck. This doesn't really make a difference, but will you pay the 1? They do, in fact, pay the 1. All the creatures die, but I am left with a bunch more lands. Saz's Chocobo! It's just a little guy. If I get land, this will grow. Chocolino will become the biggest bird. And also the goose is loose. Albiorix, the goose tyrant. Oh, it looks like it's going to go into exile, though. And also ramp for them. They can pay the 1 for the ward. No more goose. Bird jail. They put the bird in the cage. Sterling Grove. I do get to draw a card. They also get to draw a card because of Enchantress's presence. Saz's Chocobo Chocogrows. And I'll swing in. That is a land. Decline, put it into play. And try to just maximize the amount of damage I'm doing here. I'll go for a Surveil land since I can't play anything from my hand here. Nadu! Okay, Nadu's a good bird. They do have enough mana to use Calyx to exile something, but I feel either of these could be threatening a lethal attack. So instead, they're going to give Defiler of Vigor lifelink and exile the Choco. You have Ward 2? Decline, you live there now. Watcher of the Spheres. Nadu. Arts and Foco. Aiming at this Defiler of Vigor. Paying 2 mana for the ward. And it truly was a chicken attack. If I hit a land on top here, it's lethal, and they're not even sticking around to see. It was a Ledger Shredder, though. What a great board rebuild. GG, Calyx. Yuna, Hope of Spira. This is going to be an enchantments commander that reanimates the enchantment, summoning them from the graveyard. I could definitely keep this hand. I have a turn 1 Cavern of Souls, so I can play birds of all colors. And these birds of a feather will flock together with a Gilded Goose. They're saying hi. Hi, I like your, is that Stiltskin avatar? A fellow, Final Fantasy enjoyer I see over here. I could either play 2 birds, or I could set up for Choco next turn. Not have to use up that mana. I like that. Jukai Naturalist makes their enchantments cost 1 less. I should also mention that Yuna gives herself and other enchantments you control Trample, Lifelink, and Ward 2. All the enchantment creatures I happen to have in play. Now let's see what they milled. It looks like they did mill a pretty big enchantment and a smaller enchantment that's still pretty good, especially at stopping counter spells. I think there's 2 or 3 counter spells in my deck. I see you eyeing my birds. And they're going to exile one of my birds. Do you hit the Gilded Goose or the Battlefield Raptor? It makes sense. Hit the one that can actually deal damage. Fine. Choco, go get him! Battlefield Raptor is especially good with Castrol, who I have right here. Castrol is able to do a triggered ability whenever a bird deals combat damage. 1 or more birds. So if you have First Strike, you can get 2 different triggers in 1 turn. Yuna's bringing back... Is that the greatest Tanuki anyone's ever seen? That's a pretty great Tanuki. I could go for Castrol. Or I could try to double up some triggers here. Roaming Throne is a bird. We all agree that's a bird. It looks like a bird. It works like a bird. It quiz like a bird. I'll swing in with Choco and the Goose. I'll put the Tireless Provisioner in hand. This into play. Choco will double trigger. Thank you, Roaming Throne. And we get another one. Plume Creed or Awestruck. I'll go Plume Creed Mentor in hand. And Awestruck in the graveyard. Lands, am I right? I am a Landsy deck. The enchantments that Yuna brings out do happen to have finality counters. So once you get rid of them, they are gone for good. Roaming Throne, protect me. Cast out. Looks like they're going to take the Roaming Throne out of play. But it will use up most of their mana. Then in end step, bringing out the Destiny Spinner. Their life total does go up. A Bird Bard would be nice to see. We have a Bird Bard in this deck. At least none of these enchantments fly. I say that and they might just like get Bahamut next turn. Tireless Provisioner. Landfall. Get a treasure. Use the treasure for Castrol. And I don't need to attack with the Goose here, so I'll just attack in with the Silver Raven. And speaking of finality counters, I'm going to bring out Choco with a finality counter. We got birds on birds. Kenrith's transformation, turning Castrol into an elk. Hey, that's not a bird. This is no longer welcome on my board. Ignore that this is also not a bird. No super good attacks for them. They go to end step. No enchantments in the graveyard. Bring out Tulane. That goes really well with the Tireless Provisioner, getting me additional lands. Yeah, we have a couple non-birds in this deck. They do really help the game plan along, though. Get a little bit more here. And more and more. Plume Creed Mentor. Didn't get a land. I will give a +1/+1 to Choco. Since I would like her to attack. No, him to attack. Ooh, Tulane, there's a land. Tireless is finding us treats for the birds. Gotta get the Giselle greens. I can only buff up the non-flying birds with that. I don't have enough mana for that yet. Gilded Goose, you are getting me mana, but I'd rather you attack in. I'll put, I think, Elbiorix into hand. And I didn't hit any lands there, which is too bad. Somebody's asking, can chocobos fly? Chocobos generally can't fly. But the black chocobos and I think some golden chocobos, oh, they got the ability to fly. Okay, so I did get a trigger here. I'll put a counter on, I guess, Tulane. That was from the bird entering. And the Sheltered by Ghosts can come out and exile something else. How much mana do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is a scary number. I was about to say, because they can get Knights of Round. This is an indestructible creature. It's going to make 3 Knights a turn for 4 turns in a row, because there are 13 total Knights in Knights of Round. And then give all of them +2/+2 and indestructible. Who went to jail? Tulane went to jail. That's okay. I have an Empyrean Eagle. Castrol, you might not be a bird, but you're probably attacking in here anyway. I'm gonna go on a wild goose chase. Drawing 2, discarding 2. Paying Albiorix. Playing Nadu, making sure to tap the Avacyn's Pilgrim. And sacrificing this. This will actually make the Albiorix grow. We get more counters, which will trigger Nadu, potentially getting me a land. That's a Thieving Haven, not bad. Everybody in. Except for you. I think I'll put Springheart and Antoko into hand. And 3 lands into play. They can just, like, freely block this. But I know I don't have lethal in the air. And I have plenty of mana for other silly things. Looks like they're killing Castrel. Just chump blocking Choco. Make sure I'm killing the Knight token here. Here's the Thieving Haven. A very good bird. It knows how to heist. Oh wow, Albiorix is getting huge. Oh, I guess I'll make the Tireless Provisioner a little bigger? Sure. Oh my god, I got a landfall. And I sneeze! No! I know I can wait on this. But I want to make sure I can eat that food. Oh yeah, I should have saved it so I could clone Empyrean Eagle next turn to buff all the flyers. And buff them again and again and again. Yeah, if you ever played Final Fantasy VII, Knights of Round was the summon that took so long to go through. It felt like it just kept on going. But then when it finally finished, it was so satisfying. Yuna's gonna bring back Kenra's transformation, and I assume hit Choco. No, it's hitting Nadu! And it, by the way, it didn't target. That's why it didn't trigger there. That's fine with me. I'm going to bestow this onto Empyrean Eagle. And I'm going to start trying to clone my aerial buffins here. Sure, Choco, keep getting bigger. Yes, you can bestow Nantoko on your opponent's stuff, but it won't let you copy it. So I'm going to attack, and you're not a flyer, with just the flying birds this time to try and prevent some of the life gain, even though it means 2 less triggers from Choco, or just 1 less. Who goes in hand? Let's go Bartz and Boko. We get 3 different lands. They all come in tapped. I get an Uro in the graveyard. And we are going to make a lot of Empyrean Eagles. Pay the 2. Sure, Nadu. Pay the 2. Keep up the good work. Pay the 2. You're doing great, guys. And Wing Bright Thief. I'll take it. Is that lethal? I'm no mathemologist. That seems like it might be lethal. GG, Yuna. And now you've gotten to see Chocobos in action. And some other birds, too. I think this deck is really fun. And I did send the deck list to Wizards of the Coast, so hopefully that will be in the description of the video. If you're looking for more of my content, especially Brawl content, you should check me out at twitch.tv/Amazonian and youtube.com/Amazonian. I publish a ton of Brawl content and make a lot of Brawl decks, and I'm planning on making a lot of the cards from the Final Fantasy sets into Brawl commanders because there's a lot of great legendary creatures and they deserve their own decks. I hope that you like this video, and I hope you'll try out this deck for yourself.